Now you tell, all right, here's another one for you. There's this Jewish guy, okay, whose father was a cross maker for the Romans. The guy is beset with guilt. All right, he goes to Jerusalem at the age of 12, and he disputes with what they now call the doctors, but they weren't doctorates. They were doctors. They were priests. They were rabbinical priests. So he goes to and he argues with the rabbis certain things, and he has set answers to these things. It's quite clear that these were rehearsed answers. Wait a minute. The guy's uncle is the actual head of that temple in Jerusalem. Okay, then he goes into certain very, very public places, one of which he goes to a mount. He gives a sermon, and then he gives this prayer. He gives this prayer called the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer is called a Kaddish in Hebrew, and it is 4,000 years old before Jesus ever utters it. Okay, he didn't teach it; they all said it at the same time because they knew it as well as he did.
Right. Everybody in the congregation.
Then he goes to his cousin's house. His cousin has died. Is there a doctor that says this? No. No, the house is shut up, and the guy has died. He goes there and he raises his cousin from the dead. Then another cousin is blind and he can now see. Now, this guy gets nailed up on a crucifix, like most of the people who transgressed in Roman times, because that was the standard method at that time of butchering people. But he's given a vinegar. He's allowed to have vinegar. He can't have water, but he's allowed to have vinegar. Datura stramonium in vinegar creates the illusion of death. He slumps on the cross, but unexpectedly, a guard decides to check him because he died a little early. Now, if he dies early, of course it's Friday. He's taken down from the cross on Friday because even criminals, they could not keep them on the cross, on the executed cross, after sunset. So they had to take them down just before sunset. Well, he's only been on the cross for a few hours. He shouldn't have died. So to make sure, he gets poked. As a result of which he lives 3 more days, up till Sunday. Dies on Sunday. He's a member of the Zealots, quite clearly a member of the Zealots. In fact, what he says, how he does it, is all related to Zealot requirements. He very carefully lives out the predictions that are given in a number of scrolls. He clearly has either read the scrolls or been coached in those scrolls, so he gets on a white ass when he drives into Jerusalem. So all kinds of things that he does that are all very choreographed, related to the scrolls of the expected, the messianic scrolls. Yeah. Now, tell a Christian, even a part of that Jesus was a Jew, and they'll hit the goddamn ceiling with anger. Oh, what? No, he was a Christian. Excuse me. Christians weren't even around for 200 years. As a matter of fact, 200 years after Jesus died, there was a second council of Nicaea, during which they tried to decide who was the Messiah, who had been the Messiah. This is a matter of record. This is on record. This is a matter of record. The council was trying to decide between two front runners, one of which was Joseph of Arimathea, and the second one was Simon the magician, or Simon Magus. They were equally divided on those, and they chose Jesus because he was a tiebreaker. They could neither one agree, so they went to Jesus as a third choice. Third choice, folks. He was the only crucified Savior? No, he was not a crucified Savior. There was no such word as Savior at that time. It was Messiah, Messiah, which means a deliverer. Not somebody who was going to die for somebody else's sins, but somebody who's going to deliver them from the Roman oppression, which was hundreds of years old by this time. Hundreds of years the Romans had been there. There was their second captivity, the Jews' second captivity. And they had just seen the destruction of their temple. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on here. And the Romans were occupied Judea. So now, let's take the Lord's Prayer. Now, the Lord's Prayer was delivered in English?
Aramaic.
It was delivered in not just Aramaic, but in
Hebrew.
Coptic Aramaic.
Ah.
Coptic Aramaic. Okay. I have that Lord's Prayer in the Coptic Aramaic original. It traces back to Sumer, Babylon, Akkadian, Assyria. It traces back thousands of years earlier than that, goes through Egypt, through Moses, it comes to the Israelites, and then eventually the Jews. The Jews didn't exist. The Israelites did. It wasn't Jews, it was Israelites. And Israel, now you tell somebody who is Catholic, you say, go look at your sacramentary. It says, at the very end, it says, "Hear, O Israel." Does it not?
Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel. It says in the beginning of a Catholic Mass. Wait a minute. Doesn't that mean that actually Christians are Reformed Jews, are Jews who believe that the Messiah has come, as opposed to Jews who believe the Messiah has not yet come? Hello? Or are not sure which one was the Messiah, or whatever. In other words, Christians are Reformed Jews. You can get yourself strung up. And you don't have to go to Selma, Alabama to have that. You can get strung up anywhere by saying that. But it's true.